Welcome to Youth in National Revival with Dr. K.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. You're welcome to Youth in National Revival on Revival and Reformation TV. And I'm your host, Olukayode Oyedepo. It's such a pleasure to have you join us again today. Just before we go into the meat of the matter, I'd like you to invite your friends, your relatives, your colleagues, and even your enemies, to join you as we, begin these conversations around revival in Lagos and Nigeria. And I have an amazing guest with me. He's on here for the first time. He's the pastor of a church here in Yaba, Lagos. He's a young man. He's also a corporate guy. He's a manager.
Pastor K.
in a thriving company, and all that. He's a husband of one beautiful woman.
Just one.
And a father of a nation that is coming.
Pastor K, thanks.
You're welcome, Pastor.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you too.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you
Thank
too.
you.
I know you are not born in Lagos, but you spent a lot of your
Yes.
existence in Lagos.
Yes.
Can you tell us what it was like, your childhood and all that, just to get to meet you?
Okay. My childhood in Lagos has been really fun. My childhood in Lagos was really fun. I'm no longer a child, so. And one thing stands out for me was the communal state of living, right? In the sense that I remember growing up, we didn't have a TV in my house. Then we're living in one room, and my neighbors had TV. So every time Nigeria is playing football, I could leave my flat, our room, go to Brother's flat to go and watch TV, because they were mostly boys, Brother and Porsche, Nigerians. So we'll go there, watch Nigeria's match, because that was what we and it was just, it had that communal feel. Even I remember days when my mommy is a sawyer, so she deals with wood that they used to build. Right. She works in a sawmill. Sometimes she'll be going to Ondo State, because sometimes that's where they get those woods from. And she will leave me with one of my neighbor, one of my friends, them Tijani is there. And I could stay there. So there was that communal sense of living, even while I was still, growing up as a young person. So that was what Lagos meant for me. And also Lagos was living in Lagos, and I think it's still the same now. Just residing in Lagos gave you a sense of, in a way, it made you feel like you had made it in life, because that's why you see that some people will leave thriving opportunities wherever in different states. But they still want to move to Lagos, because it just feels like if Lagos just has a way of bringing you to the global stage. So, and that's what Lagos meant for me. Lagos also gave me opportunity to also develop. Because of its inherent challenges. And one of the things you find in Lagos is quite, they have a very strong also culture. Lagos is very busy. So people really do not have opportunities to serve their communities. So I saw those gaps. Those gaps were there, and I was able to leverage those gaps. And how do I mean? By the time I was entering into university, I was already serving as a community leader.
Which is University of Lagos?
University of Lagos, yes. My first and second degree is from University of Lagos. So by the time I was in my first or second year, I was already volunteering, serving my community as a youth leader. So when I mean youth leader, it's not like I was sitting in one office. So it's like I was organizing youth development events. I was managing the guys that was controlling traffic every morning, Monday to Friday on St. Finbar's College Road. Every last Saturday of the month, we'll come together and do environmental sanitation all over the community for free. So it wasn't like not paying. So that's where I learned things like influence, how to persuade people, how to get people to join a vision, to be a part of stuff, So those things gave me opportunity to develop my leadership skills, because really, it's harder to lead volunteers than to lead people that are paid.
That are paid.
Because volunteers have a choice. have a choice to leave. But it's harder for people that are being paid, because they want to keep making money. So you have to influence, persuade those people. The only thing that you have, is a vision and a mission to sell. And maybe your personality. So Lagos gave me the opportunity to refine my leadership skills at that level. So Lagos, to be fair, has been quite good to me. It's a little bit different now, but yeah.
And when you say it's a little bit different, what do you mean by that? Lagos then and Lagos now?
Yeah, I think Lagos is different because one of the major things that happened in Lagos is the decadence in morality.
Okay.
I don't know whether I think it has because I think that's always been there if you think about it deeply, but I think it's now more seen, it's more pronounced. Maybe also the advent of social media has also made it more pronounced. So you can see it's just there in your eyes, right? And it's also more because the economy is harder. So people are more materialistic, people are more selfish, people are more thinking of themselves rather than that. So so those are little shifts that you see, and because of those natural occurrences, because they are natural, when it affects the way we behave, because what we as human beings, you want to respond to the situation that's actually happening. So in response to that, our values are changing. What would before maybe I think thinking growing up, I would see my neighbors, if my neighbor wants to cook, I make God rest her soul. I can never forget that woman in my life. She would think of what I will eat. I'm not a child, I'm not a son.
Wow.
Because things were maybe a little bit more affordable then. But I don't think that I, being a parent, being an adult, when I want to cook something, I don't necessarily think of my gate man. Because I'm trying my best to really think of even the one way we get. Say you go do us, before you start thinking of other people. So it's changing the way we respond to things. We're no more as communal as we'll be. Philanthropic activities are reducing because it's harder. And there's a place where you can argue, is that what God really wants us to do? So there's that. I think that decadence is sort of there morally.
Wow. So things are worse. Of course, we know economically, and that might have been more responsible for. But if we're people of principle, and if we are rooted, should that necessarily be an excuse?
It shouldn't be an excuse. In terms of, it shouldn't be an excuse. It shouldn't be an excuse. But I would say that it's something, let me give you a good example. All of us are married. At least both of us are married. This man here is not married. Both of us are married. So if my wife annoys me, unconsciously sometimes I respond in a way that I'm not supposed to respond. And then I get myself 10 minutes later, then I change, and then I'm like, oh babe, sorry for the way I responded. So I said that to say, sometimes our immediate response to events is not lack of principles. It's just our humanity. Just committing. It's very spontaneous, right? So I think that, and that's why we're always on the journey. We're on a journey to continuously be in alignment with the principles that we hold. So sometimes we shift away from it, and that's why the church exists, I believe, to always guide people back to first principles, which is Christ. You say, this is so when you feel like you are making money and you're thinking of your family alone. Love Squad Church, Watergate Church, and all the churches that we exist are supposed to be there to guide people. Say, hey, think of yourself, but think of God and His work. Think about at Natural we can respond to things differently, but the church and the gospel is supposed to be there to bring us back to that first principles.
And I didn't mention the name of your church to people, but you did already. Watergate Church.
Community
and that's because it is you are still in the pre-launch phase, and you're launching sometimes in May. And we'll still come back to you talking more about Watergate Church. But let's talk about Idols of Lagos. Of course, you're planting a church in Lagos, and this is not your first pastoring experience. You've been an associate pastor before, and it means you've been confronting idols in the hearts of men and idols in the city of Lagos. So what are the idols that you think that the gospel needs to confront in Lagos?
Yes. So I won't talk about the symptoms. I'll talk about like how they express themselves.
Yeah.
Marriage is an idol in Lagos.
Oh,
February 14th, I thought about it. I thought when we had like singles in Lagos, I copied that name from City Church anyway, but but singles in Lagos. But I made a twist of that event.
Okay.
Because everybody would think that the Valentine's Day in a church, they will advise you to get married.
Okay.
I advised my people not to get married.
Okay.
And the reason was this. Not necessarily advice, I was advising them, think about, you don't have to marry. That's the point I was trying to make. Because it now feels with the advent of, if you go on social media and you are not married, they make you feel like you're not existing.
Okay.
Like there's this thing like only married people have made it in life. And once your goal for even serving God is to marry, that marriage has become an idol.
It's an idol, yeah.
Because your relationship with God is now transaction, is to get this.
Yeah, okay.
Anything that we get from God that is not God is an idol. And
Anything that we get
from God that is not God is an idol.
Is an
We are using God. That's what it means, right? So I think about it deeply. I'm like, in Lagos, and I think marriage has become like, you must be married. And we think about it, if we don't unconsciously, our parents have made our minds, to have created that neural path in our mind, which is go to secondary school, go to university, finish university, serve, get a job if you're a man, and then marry. Exactly. If you're a woman, if that's, you don't even need to go to university, but if you have a chance to go to university, get to university, go to NYC, they will advise you, don't make too much money, because men don't even cannot marry women that have money so that you can marry. So it now feels like the reason why they've been preparing you for long is for the goal of marriage. And it shows, even us as pastors, in a very subtle manner, when we see young people who are not married, go and marry, as if that is why we exist. And if you look at it, I always say, Paul was never married, Jesus was never married. So the goal of life can never be marriage.
Yeah.
Is marriage good? Fine. Yes, I'm married.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about it. If one of us think about it well, and we were not really, we didn't see marriage as the ultimate. Some people would have chosen not to marry. Because in their mind, they thought that if I can do this, my life is made. You now marry. You now find out that your life is not made. Because you have to, the journey is still far.
Marriage.
So marriage on guys. I know another thing is materialism. Like money, mammon is one of the biggest ills of Lagos. In fact, that's why Lagos is Lagos. That's why people will leave peaceful cities where they can sleep well, where they can eat well, and come to Lagos. Because they feel that Lagos will help you make money. And if you are not, and that's why people can lie, steal, kill to make money. It's like I have a younger, a nephew. Before this interview, my sister's son I just spoke with. And I look at the young boy, the guy is not 20. I like people to be industrious. I don't have a problem with that, but you can see from him and his friends when they are talking, there's just this over-aching, what's it called, thought around, I got to make money. So that they don't mind going against the values of God. Because every time you go against the value of God to attain something, that thing has become your idol. That's why you exist. So materialism, marriage, I would say are one of the core idols that this state is facing. But that's one of the reasons why the state is as successful as it is. So it is difficult for the state to change people. If you are not making money, if we don't make money in Lagos will not be the economic hub. Do you know what I mean? Because Lagos is leveraging from your success, your own material blessings, because you pay your tax now, or you set up businesses, and you have a business to pay tax. That's what Lagos is. What Lagos is. So Lagos will not want to make you not take money as your first, as your idol. That's why Lagos is Lagos. Lagos will want you to do, and they paint that picture for you. They'll tell you things like, If you cannot make it in Lagos, you cannot make it
Anywhere in the
anywhere.
world.
So it's that picture that Lagos is trying to sell. And that's why we cannot leave discipleship to the state. The state will not disciple us. If we leave discipleship to the state, it will make us worse. Because it's going to want to disciple us to fulfill its own purposes.
Yeah.
So
Because
that's
whether we like it or not, it's trying to disciple us,
Yeah,
right? It's trying to, the state is trying to always make us think
yes.
about money.
Anything. There's nothing is ever in a state of neutrality.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. There's nothing that exists is in a state of neutrality. Everything that exists towards formation. It wants to form you to something. Netflix doesn't just exist.
Yeah.
It's trying to form some behavioral patterns in your life. Your phone doesn't just exist. It is there to form. That's why every time there's improvement, it's just that you'll be more addicted to it. So it's forming something. Nothing is neutral. The state is not neutral. Our devices are not neutral. Even we ourselves are not neutral. So everything is a tool of formation. Everything is a tool of formation.
I want us to backtrack a little bit. You said anything you get from God that is not God
It's an idol.
Yes. Do you want to,
Yeah, we can deal with that.
do you want to explain that a bit
Yes.
further? Yeah.
You see-
Because the reason I'm asking, somebody can say that, oh, I asked God for a husband and he gave me a husband. Does that mean that husband is an idol?
No. So look at the way God blesses us and why God blesses us. God uses our needs as means to sort of draw us close to Him for Him.
Okay, to Him for
Him.
Okay.
Such that when I give you what you need,
Okay.
it won't stop you from wanting me because I am the real deal.
Okay.
Let me bring that close to us. You have a child.
Yeah.
When you give your child, Daddy, I want Easter clothes. Easter is on the way.
Yeah.
And you buy it for the child.
Yeah.
After you buy it for the child doesn't speak to you, talk to you, greet you until Christmas, when he needs Christmas clothes.
Yeah.
What do you think has happened? He has gotten the clothes. He has not gotten you.
Yeah.
That's not what God wants. What God wants is the need that you have will make you know me as God more. That I am the provider.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that you should have. I'm the move. That's why your child's need for clothes will never end. He will keep needing things.
Yeah.
But God is always there. So as long as you keep needing things, God is using as a means to say, those things cannot satisfy you. You will keep needing them, but come to me. If you come to me, you will have everything you need, not material, which if you're someone I mean, but things that you don't even know that you need. So that is the mind frame that I think that God He knows that He puts that desire in us.
Okay.
But that desire ultimately is to help us to get closer to Him. And I was listening to a man of God yesterday, and he says, if we check every one of us, one of the biggest things that makes us pray more is need. And I thought about it deeply. It shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
But just think about it. If you are in a strategic situation, you need to, God forbid, you need to raise money for an emergency and things are not coming for. You probably pray more than you pray now. Most likely, because I want to seek the face of God.
Yeah.
God does not hate it that you are praying. He loves it that you are praying.
Right.
But guess what He wants? He wants you to know that you don't have to pray like that when you need something. If you come and meet me every day, even before you know that you need things, I can even make them available for you.
Yeah.
That's what God is doing in our lives.
He does not want our friendship, our relationship to be
transactional, need driven. But He uses that need to bring us to Him, so that we'll learn. If you check the book of Mark, chapter 1, chapter 6, Jesus had just given the disciples authority, send them out 2 by 2. He told them, don't take extra clothes, don't take extra sandals. There'll be in God's mind, what God was saying is, you wouldn't lack.
They won't lack.
Go out. They went, they came back, they didn't lack. You know what did not happen there? The disciples did not get.
They didn't get it.
And that was why, just few verses later, when they were about to feed 5,000 people,
They were like,
and God said, You will feed them. They're like, they were thinking money that, do you know how much it will cost us to feed these people?
Yeah.
I just like, these guys have not gotten.
Nothing.
That you don't need money. All you need is me. Come, you are like, you have me.
Yeah.
There's things still get though, Pastor K. Because if you read further verses from like verse 42, 52, when Jesus was walking on water to them, they were afraid.
And they said, don't, where he said that don't eat the Sanhedrin's bread.
Yes, Sanhedrin's bread. And,
they thought maybe it was because like, we didn't bring enough bread.
You know, I'm like, these guys don't get it that I'm with you.
Yeah.
And because I'm with you, you will not lack anything I need. Yeah. So Jesus was using those pre-events to build their trust.
Yeah.
Like, I can send you out on a project without money and you wouldn't lack. You know, just think about it, Pastor K. God sends you on a mission to Jos for 3 weeks and he says, only take this native. There was something about this person that sent him you.
Yeah.
And you came back. You came back with more clothes.
Yeah.
You came back not lacking.
Yeah.
You should wonder, there was something about this God that if he says, go and feed, organize gas and feed everybody, and you don't have the budget, what God is expecting to do that? If I've shown myself before, you know, you should trust me now based on what I've shown you before. So we say that faith, the way God builds us is that he uses our past experiences to teach us lessons about him so that we can build trust in him. And really, that's really what I think that we need to talk about when it has to do with seeking God for God, not God for things. So that need that you have now will bring you to him and say, I can trust this God.
Yeah. I want to talk, you talked about materialism.
Yes.
And you also talked about marriage.
Yes.
And marriage took me by surprise, actually, because even though I know that relationships, but to think that it's been something that people now idolize marriage and never thought about it that way and all that, because but is it possible?
Sorry for interjecting, Pastor.
Okay.
Haven't you noticed? In every sense of humility, I'm not against any prayer platform. I'm not against any prayer platform. I'm not against it. I join those prayer platforms. If we do a survey, Pastor K, of the people that join prayer platforms, if we do a survey, you know what the biggest need will be? Top 2 biggest needs.
Money and
healing.
Healing
and marriage.
Wow.
I promise you. It will be in the top 3, I'm very sure. One of these days, just join any of the prayer platforms. Check the chat. See what people are talking about every time. Is healing, marriage, money. As good as those things are, we need them. But they have become our idols. Such that, I can't check. If, in fact, you should know by the testimonies that come out of this, they are either those 3. They are either healing, they are either money, they are either marriage. That's what people are really chasing. They are not chasing God.
Oh, that anymore.
So that if God did not give them that marriage, they'll think that they failed in life.
Wow. So, another thing that comes to mind, maybe it's also part of materialism, is Lagos is a place of hustle, like work and all that. And also Lagos, they like pleasure a lot. So I'm thinking that how can the gospel confront all of these things? Marriage that I have talked about, pleasure, materialism, work, hustle, this whole thing. How can the gospel confront these issues?
Right. So if we go back to the book of Romans, the Bible says that the gospel is God's power unto salvation.
Yeah.
In that context, was talking about salvific faith, like us transitioning into the nation of Christ. Let me use that word. But you see, the gospel is also powerful enough to save us from every other idol.
Okay.
So the gospel is not just for initial salvation of our lives, where we submit our lives to Christ.
Okay.
But the gospel also continues to, of course, the journey of sanctification, the journey of until we are glorified in Christ. So the gospel is that powerful.
Yeah.
This means that as a church, as ministers, as people who are called to disciple people.
Yeah.
As we continue to present the gospel to people,
Yeah.
the gospel of Christ to people, God's message is God's power to change the mind of people. Because what truly changes people is that we present Christ to them, then the Christ forms something new in them.
Yeah.
So it is until they are formed, their behaviors cannot change. So what we try to do in church is that we try to change behavior.
Yeah.
But you see, when you change behavior and you don't, and acts have not changed, people relapse. So look at it. Somebody that comes late, and you say, if you come late today, I'll punish you. You will probably not want to get punished, and you will start coming early for a bit.
Yeah.
But so guess what's going to happen? Because his why is not from the heart. It's not a heart work.
Yeah.
It's a head work. He will relapse after a period of time. So what that person needs is God's power.
That's power.
To know why I shouldn't come late. You know, all of those things that the Bible presents to us, and by the power of God, God works in the heart of men.
Yeah.
So is that once God has worked in the heart of men, there's always an outward working of that.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't be saved and not show fruits.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
If you are saved,
Yeah.
you must show fruits. It doesn't mean that you will be the best behaved person in the world immediately.
Yeah.
But there will be ongoing works of God, proven works that people can see, and it is ongoing for every believer. So I think that that's where the gospel has a work to play. We has a role to play, where we present the gospel, God's old counsel, Old Testament, New Testament, the gospel to people, and God uses that to work because the gospel is God's desire for man. So when we present it to people, and God works in them, like, oh, this is it. Let me share a testimony here.
Please do.
I think that this will help. I won't mention them. So I know 3 people in my church that are dealing with stuff. Like real stuff.
Yeah.
And I've seen how presentation of the gospel, presentation of God's word over a period of time can cause them to have a changed mind. There's somebody that I don't want to do out of description. That hard end into things like humanizing and all of that. Hard end, like, but God's word. It's not even me that did it, but not me. It's not me teaching the gospel, but God has been working in this person's life before the person finally met me. And then you can see the conviction in this person's heart. This person that will probably not go to church before. This person's car got spots. But you see, that's how God works. Usually, the person has a car, won't go to church. But his car spot, guess what? We went for evangelism recently. He came. That's God, oh my pastor.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that's not even service. That is going for door-to-door evangelism.
Yeah.
That's God. So as we keep presenting this gospel, what happens is that the desire to please God increases, the desire to please that idol reduces.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, that behavior dies. And I think that's the continuous work as a church. We need to keep doing. We should not be shy of the gospel. We should not try to please people, because sometimes, because our desire to please people, we water down the effects of the gospel, what God has clearly stated. Present it to people in the best way possible and leave God to do the work, as we continue to also pray that this word gets works in the heart of men.
Thank you very much.
Sound doctrine, Christ-centered gospel, leading you to authentic faith. Stay with us on Revival and Reformation Television, and your life will not remain the same. Thanks for watching Revival and Reformation Television.